Ernest Hemingway's The Old Man in the Sea, it seems like such a simple story, right? I mean, on the surface, it's just about an old fisherman. But if you dig just a little deeper, wow, you find this incredible story, one of the most powerful tales ever written about what it means to endure, to have dignity, and to really understand victory and defeat. So at its heart, what you've got here is this lone fisherman, and he's up against the huge, unforgiving Gulf Stream. I mean, it's that classic timeless conflict, isn't it? It's just humanity versus the natural world, a world that's both stunningly beautiful and incredibly cruel. And you know what? It really doesn't care one bit if you win or lose. 84. Let that number sink in. For 84 straight days, our hero has caught absolutely nothing. Can you even imagine the weight of that? I mean, this isn't just a bit of bad luck. We're talking about a streak so bad, it's basically become a public spectacle. It's the one thing that defines him in his village. So this is the big question Hemingway is asking us, right? How do you face what feels like permanent defeat? When everything and everyone is telling you failed, when the world has totally written you off, what is it that keeps you going? What does it even mean to be undefeated on the inside when, you look totally defeated on the outside? Okay, so let's meet our hero, Santiago. In his village, he is known as Salao, and that's not just unlucky. It's like the worst possible kind of unlucky. For him, people don't see it as just a phase. Nope, they see it as a permanent state of being. And honestly, everything about the guy seems to prove it. You just have to look. His gear tells the whole story of his poverty and this long, long struggle with no results. I mean, his sail, it's literally patched with flour sacks, looking like, and this is a quote, the flag of permanent defeat. In his hands, you can see these deep old scars from battles won way in the past, but nothing new. They're described as being as old as erosions in a fishless desert. Wow. But, and this is where you find the real heart of the story. While his body, his boat, everything on the outside shows decay and loss, his eyes tell a totally different story. They're the same color as the sea, and they're described as cheerful and undefeated. That's it. That's where his real, unconquerable strength is hiding. So where does he get this unbroken will? Well, it's not just him being stubborn. The thing is, Santiago isn't completely alone in all this. His spirit is kept alive by the one person who still truly believes in him, a young boy named Manolin, who used to be his apprentice. And this right here is such a great contrast. On one side, you have the boy's parents, and they're just being practical, right? They see Santiago as Salao, unlucky, and they tell the boy he can't fish with him anymore. I mean, 84 days with no fish? Yeah, you find a new boat. But then you've got the boy, Manolin. He sees something totally different. He believes in Santiago, saying, there are many good fishermen and some great ones, but there is only you. He sees past the bad luck to the greatness of the man. And it's not just talk, The boy's faith is real. He actually brings Santiago food. He helps him get bait. They sit around and talk about baseball. It's these little acts of kindness, these shared rituals. That's what keeps the old man's confidence up. The book puts it beautifully, saying it freshens his confidence as when the breeze rises. And you gotta understand, Santiago isn't some fool living in his glory days. He knows he's old. He's totally aware that his physical strength isn't what it used to be. But he puts his faith in what he does have. He's banking on his experience, his tricks, and that just unshakable will, his resolution. So this is it, day 85. He's got the boy's faith fueling him, he's got his own resolution, and he just pushes his little boat way, way out into the Gulf Stream. He leaves everyone else behind. He is literally gambling everything on this one day. And this is so important to understanding him. His connection to the sea is incredibly deep. He calls it la mar, which is feminine. He sees the sea as this woman he loves, someone who can give you amazing gifts or withhold them. But the younger fishermen, they call it el mar, masculine. To them, it's a competitor, an opponent, an enemy you have to beat. That difference in perspective, it's everything. And this quote, man, it just sums up his whole philosophy. Yeah, he gets that luck is a good thing to have, but he's not going to sit around and wait for it. Nope. He's going to focus on being exact, on being perfectly prepared. Because his whole deal is skill and being ready. That's what lets you grab luck by the horns when it finally shows up. And you can see this art of readiness in every single thing he does out there. He sets his baits with absolute precision at 4 different depths. He carefully covers every single hook with fresh sardines. He makes sure his lines are hanging straighter than anyone else's. This isn't just throwing a line in the water. This is a true craft. He's an artist at work just waiting for his moment. So after hours and hours of just waiting out there, all alone in that huge expanse of blue, it happens. The wait is over. All that perfect preparation is about to face the test of a lifetime. And it starts so simply. Just a little visual cue. One of his projecting green sticks just dips. Sharply. Now, think about it. After 84 days of absolute nothing, that tiny little movement, it carries an unbelievable amount of hope and possibility. And then he feels a pull, but it's tentative. It's not this solid, heavy jerk. It's gentle, almost kind of shy. There's no big, violent thrash. It's just this quiet, delicate little start to what's about to become the biggest fight of his entire life. And then it hits him. That gentle pull is gone, and instead, there's something hard and just unbelievably heavy. He realizes this isn't just a big fish. This is a force of nature. It's like he's hooked onto a living, breathing anchor deep down in the ocean. And right there in that moment, the whole game changes. Santiago is not the hunter anymore, not at all. He's now attached to something so powerful, it's literally pulling him and his boat further out to sea. He's just holding on, basically a passenger on a trip being controlled by this invisible giant. So get this, for a whole day and a night, he's just being towed. He's basically a prisoner of this thing on his line. And then finally, he sees it. His opponent, the huge marlin, breaks through the surface of the water, and the true, absolutely impossible size of what he's up against becomes crystal clear. Just let that sink in for a second. The fish he is fighting all by himself in the middle of the ocean is bigger than his boat. I mean, it's just a simple, shocking fact that tells you everything you need to know about how impossible this fight really is. But here's the thing. Santiago doesn't feel hate. He doesn't feel fear. What he feels is this deep, deep respect. He doesn't see this marlin as some monster he has to conquer. No, he sees it as a noble brother, something more able and majestic than he is. He totally recognizes its nobility, its power, and yeah, its right to fight for its own life. And this next line just captures the huge paradox at the heart of this story. Think about that. It's this idea that you can love something, you can respect it, see it as your equal, and still be dead set on killing it. That's the code of the hunter. That's the tragic, beautiful dignity in this fight between two amazing creatures. So at some point, Santiago's goal, it changes. It's not really about just catching a fish anymore. It's about proving his own worth. It's about showing this magnificent fish, and maybe more importantly, showing himself, what the absolute limits of human endurance really are. So this leaves us with this big final question. When the battle is over, what does it truly mean to win? Especially in a fight where your opponent is your brother, what does victory even look like? Maybe, just maybe, as Hemmingway hints, it means you can be destroyed, but you can never, ever be defeated.